What was the story when she's telling people in the line this might not have been an accident? Did she have a working?
No, I think eventually when it came out to social media that I don't know. There's so much. I mean, I think one of them was that it hit him over the head with a bat, drug him into the ditch, then pulled the truck around and drove it over. Okay, on a busy highway.
Weren't there two
at an
eyewitnesses?
appointment? Well, that saw the accident. Yeah. Now they came forward later.
Try to guess whether it's attention or money or whatever someone's after, but this isn't like.
Well, it got lots of attention and lots of money, so it could have been. I don't know.
All of this attention is out of someone's brain, and then it starts snowballing.
Yeah. Well, now there were other lies surrounding all the other stuff around it too that were just not true. Whatever has happened in our divorce the prior 7 years doesn't matter. Like, we lost our child, our son. I'm here to support you and our daughter in whatever way possible. And
how long did it take for that to turn? Because I don't remember. I feel like it was a few months, but I don't know. Was not a few months? It was that quick? It was quick?
Unfortunately.
Maybe those days were so crawling for me. So, yeah. When we had coffee.
It became public months later, but it was behind the scenes, not public on social media prior.
What was the first indication you got that this?
So his accident was on a Monday. His visitation was Friday. His funeral was Saturday. And on Tuesday, after his funeral, I had someone call me, and I had someone else tell me, 2 people reach out that said in the visitation line on Friday, it was mentioned that it might not be an accident. And I'm just like, you have got to be kidding me. Like,
mentioned by
his mom.
And that's it. No one else. There was just that. Yeah.
No, that she mentioned it to people in line that were coming through the line, the visitation line, standing 3 feet from me. That's hard to hear. It's hard to hear.
Yeah. And about like the dumbest murder ever it seems like an impossible situation. And by the way, I'm going back a little bit. I assume the car fell out of gear or something, or maybe didn't put it in gear. We don't know exactly. There's either a couple scenarios. It either popped out of park. The other thing, which we think may have happened, a friend of mine went back because the truck was drivable, although it ended up being totaled because the frame was bent from it hitting. That's the other thing. It was totaled. The frame was bent because it rolled back down into this ditch. In the back end, it hit, and it's that big, hard gravel rock stuff. Because originally I was going to get the truck fixed and keep it, and then I think God had another plan. Was like, no, you don't need to keep this thing. And the frame, we found once they tore it apart and got into it to fix it, the frame was bent, and they totaled it anyway. But we drove it back up there to try to get it to pop out of park. We're jumping in the back of it like we're trying everything. And then later on, actually, my friend was like, they wonder if it was, you know how sometimes you can park but still be in drive, but just sit there when you're on an incline? Because my friend asked me, he said, hey, when you went to get the truck from the police impound lot and recover it, did you have to buy gas? And I was like, yeah, it's actually the first thing I had to do because it was like empty. So we think he may have accidentally still had it in drive. It's sitting there, forgot to put it in park, gets out. Maybe when you're on an incline, the level of the fuel in the tank adjusts. The vehicle thinks it runs out of gas. It stalls. It starts rolling. Because later on, when the eyewitnesses finally came forward later, they said they saw him trying to stop the truck from rolling backwards. And then he slipped and it took him under. And he's probably thinking, oh, I'm going to hurt somebody in the road or it's going to tear up the truck. I can stop because he was 6'3", 210. Unlike me, if I didn't know he was mine, I would have thought he was like the milkman's because he was like 6'3", 210 and I'm not 6'3", and 210. But he walked like me and our mannerisms and a lot of our stuff. It's amazing to see what is in you that's in your kid, as you know. Yeah.
But
what was the story for your ex? Like, what was her when she's telling people in the line this might not have been an accident? Did she have a working?
No, I think eventually when it came out to social media that I don't know. There's so much. I mean, I think one of them was that I think one of them, and I don't know, there might have been more than one, but one that I know I saw and heard was that I hit him over the head with a bat, with one of his bats, drug him into the ditch, then pulled the truck around and drove it over. Okay. On a busy highway.
Weren't there two
at an appointment?
eyewitnesses?
Well, that saw the accident. Yeah. Now they came forward later. They came forward later. Not their statements were not taken at the time of the accident, but they came forward later.
Try to guess whether it's attention or money or whatever someone's after. But this isn't like
Well, it got lots of attention and lots of money, so it could have been. I don't know.
All of this attention is out of someone's brain, and then it starts snowballing.
Well, now there were other lies surrounding all the other stuff around it too that were just not true. I don't want to. I want to bring up other people's names that
I want to have empathy for whatever.
Like even, there were horrible accusations against the funeral home that were unfounded. There were total lies, and we have documentation that there were lies. And it's like, just come on, just.
I've watched my wife lose her son. I understand as best I can as a man. First of all, I lost my son. It's rough. It's rough in every way. I watched my wife lose the son that she carried. It is very rough. I have empathy for a mom that we had this crazy lawsuit, but it was absolutely this fabrication. This mom just wanting something to blame and attention with Sage and this kid that had killed himself. It's a long, long road. Moms in that kind of grief can lurch out in crazy ways. I even kind of understand it, but this has been. Holy cow. It's not just, I don't know. I was pretty bad too. But I'm not sure that Sage's drug use didn't result from this situation that we had, which was an absolutely grief-stricken, crazy mother with absolutely no sort of reality, whatever, that calls the blame. You have no idea what you do. And if you're willing to do it to a kid, of course, someone's let me ask you this, and some of this I kind of know, some of this I don't know, but there's no history in it quite like this. I know that you've had there were some, trying to think of how to word this without getting everyone in trouble, but like, there's strangeness in her behavior before this.
Oh yeah, all through our divorce proceedings. It's pretty public out there that that during our divorce, I was accused of abusing the kids in multiple ways, was investigated twice during our divorce and found to be innocent of that. Later on, once again, accused again, post-divorce, once again, that was not found to be true. Once again, a few years later, similar thing. Investigated again, nothing founded. No, yeah. So there's been multiple accusations over since 2013, mind you. There was also a false accusation on social media in 2013, right at the early part of our divorce, that I had kidnapped the kids, and this was on Facebook, and needed to raise money quickly because of it.
You kidnapping. I can say this because
I literally at that time had paperwork in my pocket from a judge that showed that I had custody of the kids.
Yeah.
Had it in my pocket, literally had it with me everywhere I went, just so I had it everywhere I went.
Just in case. Anyone who knows you that thinks that you would hurt your son, it was starting with that when someone, it's kind of like in politics, when someone just tells blatant lies or misrepresents something so blatantly, it makes you need to immediately question everything else that person said. Starting with the idea that you could, would, or would want to hurt your son. I'd have to be, if I was a discriminating, bystander, observer watching this go down, I'd have to say, if I knew Aaron Solomon, I'd go, well, that's not true. That's the biggest thing that he killed his son. No, never, ever, ever would that guy hurt his son. That's the most obvious thing I could ever see. Turns everything else. It's amazing to me the people that don't investigate that any further.
Oh,
so what was the next step? You're hearing this in the line.
Well, I heard it a few days later, but then.
Well, I'm sorry, they're hearing it in the line.
But people tell me, hey, that's what's being said in the line by her. But that was, that was July of 2020. But then in the spring of 2021 is when social media campaign launched, you know.
And she started a Facebook page or something?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, maybe Twitter. I don't know, maybe TikTok. I mean, you name it.
Were all the claims released at once, or did she just start, were these?
I don't know. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff going out there. I mean, multiple. I mean, every day something was, you know, did this to his son, did this to his daughter, you know, blah, 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 blah. Kept on. So, I mean, that started in early 2021 and was active for several years. Just kind of got quiet finally late 2024. So like 3 years of it on social media. So there's many days where, I mean, I had people going, why do you still live here? And trust me, there have been times where I'm like, how about I just sell what I have and go move to Costa Rica? That's my line. It's just, pick a remote spot.
My thing is always rent paddle boards in Key West.